Hello. So at this moment, we're going to talk about situational leadership. We often say that leadership is situational. It all depends on so many different factors. Based on all these factors, we lead in a certain way. We lead others in a certain way. And one particular way of looking at situational leadership is through the eyes of I call it the Ken Blanchard and Paul Hersey model. As you see here, let me make it a bit bigger for you. Adopted by Ken Blanchard and Paul Hersey, or Hersey, in Management of Organizational Behavior, 1996, right? So let's go straight to the matrix. I think it gives a nice overview of situational leadership. All right. So take for example coaching, all right, or a football coach or the manager of a football team. So if I'm the manager of a football team, I will manage or I will portray a particular type of leadership based on the abilities of my players or based on their attitudes on the field. So, for example, there are some players, we wouldn't call names of players today, but some players they have that talent, they're brilliant, they have the talent, so they have the ability, but it takes someone to activate that ability or to motivate them in order to perform. So there's a quadrant called supporting quadrant. Ability being high, willingness is low. So sometimes persons are unwilling for a wide range of reasons. It might be the environment. Maybe they are not comfortable yet with the environment. And that happens a lot of times in the football industry. Players leave one club, go into another club, and it takes a while for them to adapt to others, to the culture and to everything, right? To the subculture of the team, right? So this is a nice example. So at times leaders need to support persons in the team. You see it in the classroom as well. Some students have the ability, but they don't have that drive at a particular time, right? So you have to intervene, right? So as we say, leadership is situational. The way we lead people could be situational. As in the case, there are persons who you have to delegate, all right? Happens on the football team, it happens on any team, it happens in the classroom, right? They may have the willingness, all right? They may have the willingness, the willingness could be high, and the ability is also high. So those individuals, you don't want to micromanage. If you micromanage those individuals, they would not cooperate. So you need to know how at all times how to lead people, how to manage people, because if you make a mistake, you would upset the apple cart. Persons will be disgusted, some would leave. You will have disagreements, you will have chaos. So there are persons on a football pitch who you can simply delegate. Listen, hey, take the ball, and you know what to do. Right, and they know exactly what to do. They'll take that ball, they'll pass it to the right person they need to pass it to, and bam, goal. Right, and you see it in the classroom as well. Some students need to be closely managed. Right, those students you don't require delegation. The students who you delegate, they have that ability and they have that drive. Right. And for whatever reason. But your job is to recognize these, variances in behavior and or ability, all right? And then there's coaching and directing. Directing is very important. So, a chain is as strong as its weakest link. So as a manager leader in an organization, you have to bring everyone along, because if you don't strengthen the weak ones within the organization, it will affect the business. Everyone will not have the same abilities, at least at the same time. So you need the ones who lack the ability and who lack the willingness, you have to bring them up to the level of others, right? And that is how the If you do that, we will work as a team, right? Working as a team and teamwork is not about ignoring the weak ones. You have to bring the weak ones along, right? And it's a good message for managers or leaders, as we say, right? So situational leadership. Let's look at some details of it. Let's look at some details. Before that, let me just look at coaching briefly. Coaching. Have the willingness, lack the ability. All right. So persons in the organization may lack the ability, and you may have to intervene, train those persons, right? Assign a mentor to those persons. Don't give up on them, right? Things like that, right? Once they have the willingness, that is a good sign, right? That makes your job a bit easier, huh? So I wouldn't read everything in detail, just to give you an idea, and let me make this a bit larger. All right. So directing this leadership approach is most appropriate when the followers have low willingness and low ability, as we said. It's self-explanatory. When the followers cannot do the job and are unwilling or afraid to try, then the leader must take a highly directive role, must become highly involved. Directing requires those in charge to define the roles and tasks of the followers and supervise them closely. Yes, right? Supervise them closely. Yes, you may have to micromanage those individuals, right? Yes. So you can read the details of it, but my analogy with the football team and with what happens in an organization, I'm sure this will help. So just a recap. Situational leadership. Leadership is situational. And the Hersey and Blanchard model more relates to how we interact or the approach we apply when we lead people, right? It's not all about this situational leadership model is not a model that you may want to apply, let's say, in a situation. For example, you're coming into an organization and there's a financial problem, right? This would really apply there, right? You can look at situational leadership in a different context there. But you see this model is really about the way we manage people and people within a situation, right? It's more people oriented, right? More people oriented. Situational leadership model, the Blanchard and Paul Hersey matrix, if you want to call it. All right. I hope this explains. Thank you very much.